This podcast was recorded on the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mad About You. I am Locke and this is my darling wife, Jadé.
Welcome back to the pod. We missed you. We love you. Let's get into it.
Jesus, that was interesting. Sorry about her, guys. If you guys got any other hosts you would want me to be doing this with,
sharing
just let
the
me know.
love. What's wrong with that? It's a lovely day. We're talking about weddings.
Yeah, it is going to be an interesting one. But before we get into that, let me remind you of something that you may have forgotten about that happened to us after we got engaged.
Talk to me.
We went to the Barossa Valley for a little getaway. We were visiting a couple of wineries, celladors, having a lovely time. Do you remember when we went to that winery with that kind of quirky dude that owned it? It was pretty empty, like it was just you and me. He took us on a little tour and then he sat us down at his cellar door and we were trying a couple of his wines. And then we sort of got chatting about why we were here and we said, oh, we're recently engaged. And he was like, oh, I do weddings here. I don't know if he was trying to sell the venue to us or, just wanted to share that he was, a wedding dude. And
wedding dude.
We were sitting there and he goes, oh, I host weddings here. And then he said, I actually had one recently that didn't go too well. And I was kind of like, well, how does a wedding not go well? Like, what do you even mean by that? And then he started to tell us this story about how he was hosting this big wedding and they had the ceremony and they're having the reception in one of his, halls or whatever it is. Someone walked into the bathroom at some stage during the reception.
Oh, I remember.
And the groom was caught cheating with one of the bridesmaids. Like, they were engaged in coitus in the bathroom and got walked in.
At the wedding.
How?
On your wedding night. What? With the bridesmaid.
You can tell I'm literally lost for words. I don't understand how that even happens.
Yeah, it's like the worst possible scenario. You haven't even... Weddings aren't cheap. Why have you spent so much money to go and do that on the night of your wedding? Like...
Some weddings cost an absolute arm and a leg. I don't know if some of you have done it, you'd know, and if some of you haven't, that pretty much anything involved in a wedding adds a couple of zeros to the end of the dollar figure for goodness knows what reason. Like, when
wedding
we were
tax.
looking at cakes and stuff for our wedding, you wouldn't know it, but $800 for a cake. Not sure what that extra zero needs to be there for. But
the flowers?
But as in, imagine being with someone for years, getting engaged, planning a wedding, family, friends are there, the investment, the time, the effort, and then you go, oh,
you know what? Wedding day seems like a good time.
Fuck, Stacey's looking good. Maybe I'll just see if I can bonk her in the toilet and make sure no one sees. And then I'll just go on my honeymoon next week. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
And I think we found out, or somehow the guy had found out that they'd been seeing each other for a while, right? It wasn't a one-time thing, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I don't know how he would have found that out.
I think I remember him saying that.
Yeah, well, let's just question that then. How would he have found that out?
I don't know. Obviously, someone at the wedding was informed. Right.
Well, and then he went up to them and he went, tell me about these guys' relationship. And they went, yeah, they've actually been seeing each other for a while. Like, how would he find that out? I don't think that actually happened. I think you're remembering something else. But that was our introduction to weddings when we got engaged. So I don't know if this guy was trying to scare us or if he was like selling the venue. Like,
I kept a close eye on
I'll give it
Locke
to you
after
cheap because this stuff happens here. Yeah, it was an interesting one. But to know that stuff happens on people's, like, the biggest and best day of your whole life, something that you look forward to.
Unfathomable.
We looked forward to. Yeah, I honestly can't imagine.
Yeah. Like, cheating
in
general, rogue.
What do you do?
But cheating in that situation specifically is like, it's self-sabotage, surely, at that point.
It doesn't even sound like a real story, but what do you do as the bride? Like,
pack it up, go home.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense. Like, put yourself in that position. I actually wouldn't know. Like, do you finish your meal?
I'd be physically ill from how horrible I'd feel.
Do you just say, hey, look, someone get in the car, just drive me out of here? Like, there
are so many levels.
What a nightmare. Like,
and
a logistical
with your bridesmaid
nightmare.
too, yeah.
Yeah, you've just lost a friend as well. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah.
We're both going through it now, aren't we? We're both really processing this one.
I'm putting myself in that position and going like, oh, I can't imagine finding you with one of my groomsmen, like, in the toilet. What? If you're getting married soon, don't be scared. It won't happen to you because you're in control of your own actions. So just don't sleep with a groomsman or a bridesmaid and you'll be sweet. It'll be a lovely day.
guys, today we are chatting about weddings. That is something that Locke and I are familiar with. As you know, we are married.
I'm actually not that familiar with it because you pretty much planned everything.
Yes, I did do that.
Jad said, "Are you free on the 22nd of October, 2022?" And I said, "See you there."
Some people think that grooms should be more involved in the planning of the wedding.
Well, I feel like you're quite controlling when it comes to those things.
All right, well.
So, like, you wanted to do it all, which is fine.
To
and
be
you
fair,
did give me
yeah.
roles. Like, I was involved. I had to get all the alcohol, and then also I had to do the recovery day the next day. So I did plan stuff.
If Locke had creative direction, he would have probably involved like a reenactment of the Gladiator at some point during the wedding. So,
well, theatrical. No, I would have just like plastic chairs. Who cares?
Oh my!
A few
goodness.
daisies on the table, candle. It doesn't matter. It's about the people, friends, family.
I planned the wedding.
Speeches. Yeah, it looked lovely, mind you. It was beautiful. And I told you that in my speech. I said, this is all because of Jad. I said, this is amazing. But
if you planned it, you would have stayed in budget probably.
Oh, yeah. There's no point having budget chats with Jad. We've had it, weddings, travel, you name it. What's the budget? X. Why is it X times 3 now?
It's a rough
I thought it was
guide.
rough. No, that's not what budget means. Budget has a definition. It's not just like this airy-fairy feel around about, go over, doesn't matter.
Guys, but actually, you know what? I
works.
have a piece of advice. If you're getting married soon, my one piece of advice would be set your budget and then stay 10% under your budget and pretend that that's your whole budget. Because the one thing that everyone I know or everyone you've spoken to probably will tell you is that you will go over your budget. And it's usually in the last couple of weeks where these little niggly bits pop up or something goes wrong or you haven't considered something and you will need to play with that 10% that you've hidden away. So that's my piece of advice. If you're planning a wedding, set your budget and then stay 10% under and keep that 10% for emergencies because you're probably going to need it.
I would make it more like 50.
50%.
Yeah. There was, when you say some little niggly bits, there was some big niggly bits popping up on ours.
We have big niggly bits.
We needed wet weather options and generators and all these things
we don't need to get into that.
They decided to tell us a couple of days out.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway.
Yeah, chaos.
We're starting off by chatting about one of the most controversial wedding topics, which is should or shouldn't you be entitled to a +1? How do we feel about +1s to a wedding?
I'm fine with having anyone at my wedding that I'm, close to and I have a relationship with or I've known them for a long time. But, we did have this issue with our wedding, which, it does become quite a little, this political matter and, you ruffle feathers and people get annoyed. But there were people that we'd send invites to, like single invitations. It's clearly written to a single person. And then they would message and go like, hey, is, so-and-so invited, like my partner? And Jad and I would look at each other and we'd go, we don't even know your partner. Like, we've never met them. So
I didn't actually realise, honestly, that people still did +1s to weddings unless they knew them. Like, I thought it was something that people did 20 years ago, maybe, when it was just like invite your neighbourhood.
Yeah, but I think
to the wedding.
Maybe if that person that you're inviting, a single person, knows no one at the wedding and you want them to feel comfortable and have someone to spend time with. But if you know that they're going to be around like a plethora of friends and family that they all know, like, I don't really think it's a big deal. But we just kind of were under the guise of, if you don't know us and we don't know you, we don't really want you around on the most special day of our lives where, it's like an intimate group of people. We didn't have, half of Sydney there. We had like 90 people or something, of which 50 were family or probably more, So, yeah, my take on it is, no, if we don't know each other, then... But I just think, why would you want to watch me? Like, why would you want to watch a stranger get married? That means nothing.
Well, some people, I think, who've been in long-term relationships think that entitles them to a +1.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know their partner. I think that's where it gets a bit funny. It's like...
Yeah, well, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. It's tricky because I think it's become this thing where, it's something you tend to go to with a partner, right? I think that's where the line's a bit fuzzy. It's some people think that just entitles them to an invitation. We've been together for 2 years.
At the end of the day, it's up to the people whose wedding it is. They're paying.
Well, it's their
special day. So I think that people should take away your selfishness of you wanting to be comfortable or you having a good time. It's like, it's these two people's special day.
Yeah.
They've invited you. They're paying for you to be there. They're making this day special and it's taken them a long time to do it.
Yeah.
Like, as in, it's up to them at the end of the day. And I think that's always how it should be.
Yeah, I obviously think that, you know, plus one's not necessarily entitled unless you know them, unless the people who are throwing the wedding actually know them. What I find interesting as well is the conversation around inviting your parents' friends.
No, yeah, but
like that's a tricky one. I think.
Didn't they already get married? Didn't they have their own weddings? They should have invited their friends to those ones.
Well, it's hard. I can understand, right? We've had this baby, you know, 20, 30 years down the track, our kid is getting married, and that kid that we've raised around our friends constantly, it feels like they were a part of that, you know?
Sure,
and it would at times, you know, the kid might not remember someone being really involved in their childhood and helping out a lot and, you know, watching them grow up, and that might feel really special for that person. But maybe as the kid gets a bit older, becomes a teenager and then an adult, you know, you don't necessarily have those moments as often. I can kind of see why a parent might want to invite friends like that to the wedding. However, if there's no longer a relationship there years down the track, maybe it doesn't make as much sense.
Makes no sense.
Yeah.
That's like me saying to you, oh, you had a friend from kindergarten to year 4 and they were really close with you and they were part of your life. Like, why don't you invite them to your wedding even though you haven't spoken to them in 20 years? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, there needs to be a bit of thought that's put into it. Are these people still around? You know, do I see them ever? Do we go to lunches or, you know, Christmases, or do we see them at anything?
I think it's fair for your parents to go, hey, we'd like to invite so-and-so, and then you can determine your relationship with so-and-so. And if you go like, yeah, they were actually a big part of my life and that'd be nice to have them there. I'd like them to share with my parents. But like, I don't think it's necessarily your parents' you know, right to invite people to your special day. Once again, that you don't feel close and intimate to share in this moment that, you know, you've curated for your friends and family, and then to have these people there. But
it's also very different culturally, you know, like different cultures have different expectations around weddings. You know, I have friends who've been to weddings with 800 people, and then I've been to, you know, had friends who've had weddings with 7 people. So obviously if there's 800 people at that wedding, you're probably going to run into your parents' friends.
Yeah.
If that's the expectation. And also the other thing is, have your parents contributed?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I think that you have a bit of more of a chance of making your dreams come true as the parent if you've contributed a significant amount of money to this wedding. So these people that have 800 people weddings, you're not paying for that by yourself. I'll tell you that much for free.
Absolutely not.
So
unless it's like
parents,
BYO sandwich or...
Yeah, you do like takeaway Maccas. But if you've got parents that are contributing, then I think they have more of a say. They can go like, look, we're contributing to this wedding. We'd like to invite a few people to share in it with us. And then you can say, no, I don't want your contribution and I don't want your friends. But I don't think you can say like, no, I don't want your friends, but I'll take your contribution.
But then where does their interference end? You know, we contributed, we want blue flowers. We contributed, we want you to wear this. We contributed, we want this type of alcohol. Where does that end?
Fuck, that's actually a really good question. Yeah, I don't know.
Because I have a feeling that would happen. I'm sure there's plenty of people who've had scenarios like that occur where it's like maybe your in-laws have contributed and all of a sudden they have all these wild requests.
Yeah,
and it's like,
in there.
How do you say no to that if they're the ones paying for half the wedding or something, you know?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. I only looked at it through the lens of guests, but now it can just trickle into every element. Like, are they... Yeah, like they could say, well, we contributed, therefore we paid for half of the photographers, therefore, you know, you're doing photos for 2 hours, we get an hour of photos with us and our friends and family. Yeah,
or maybe you were planning on having a destination wedding and now they want you to have it at home.
Oh, no.
Now what?
Well,
also, are destination weddings considerate or inconsiderate?
My take on that?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I've been to one.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. I've been to one.
Yeah,
it was in Bali. And, you know, Bali's a relatively inexpensive place. That being said, it's
in terms of a destination wedding,
it still costs to get there, and airfare and accommodation and, you know, those things. So it still costs a bit of money.
Oh, it adds up for a wedding.
Yeah, I mean, I think we tickled the idea of a destination wedding. You know, wanted to get married on Lake Como or something, and just thought that everyone would fly their private jet there.
It didn't
given when they won the lottery or something.
You can see Locke and I had differing perspectives on this one.
Yeah. So, destination wedding to me, I think personally, obviously, to my friend that had the destination wedding, which I attended to, I don't think you're a bad guy or you're selfish for doing that. But that being said, I would feel strange asking people to fork out that much money to come and watch my special day. And to be honest, I already, like, Jad and I got married.
We still had a destination
wedding. Yeah, we got married in the Hunter Valley. Was...
People needed to get a comm, and
exactly.
Some people flights and cars and,
To be honest, we only invited 2 couples that needed to fly.
3. But 2 didn't.
2 didn't come and had COVID. So, maybe that was too destination for them even. Who knows? But that being said, a domestic flight is very different to an international flight, which is very different to hotels overseas and transport and stuff. And I just think personally, I think it's a big ask to get people to do that when, especially, you don't understand and know everyone's sort of financial position. Like, some people might really struggle but really want to be there to support you, which then might put them in tricky situations. They might take out loans, credit cards to be there, and you've put them in weird positions. So I think you kind of...
It's a weird one.
Yeah, need to make it as easy as possible. But that being said, consider, your dream wedding and
well, that's
yada,
the thing.
yada.
And I also, whilst I completely understand and agree with what you're saying, I would love to go to more destination weddings. So then you've got the flip side where I'm like, I haven't been to one, and it would be it would be amazing for someone to go, we're having this incredible wedding in, the hillside of Tuscany, come. I'd go absolutely. You're organising all this stuff, and all I have to do is show up, and book my flights and a comm. Great. Yeah, I'd love to come and celebrate with you overseas. So, like, it's a weird one. It's like, I think it's very situational.
The thing is, right, if they were hosting the wedding in Darling Harbour, would you be equally as excited? Like, as in, and then you could save yourself $6,000?
No. Did you think I was going to say yes?
Well, I don't know. As in, like, it's not about the destination that they're getting married. I'm there to support, your friends or family.
So am I, but I might be a bit more excited for a cheeky trip to Tuscany.
Why don't you just go to Tuscany then? Let them get married at Darling Harbour.
I'd love to go to Tuscany. Should we go?
You can go.
Are you saying we should go?
No, you can go. You can suss out wedding venues for your friends and then let them know when you get home.
I'm not going without a +1.
Well, I don't want to be invited to this Tuscany wedding.
That's another good question. If you're invited to a destination wedding, are you then entitled to the +1?
Yeah, you can buy them a ticket and they can come and stay in the hotel, but they don't get to come to the wedding. Imagine, if you have
then you have a bit more ground to stand on. It's like, we've come all this way, I'm bringing my partner.
No, the opposite. I think it is so far away, it's now going to be even more intimate because we're going to lose all the people that don't want to come because they don't want to pay. So it's now an even more intimate environment. Why would I want your random partner to now be sticking out in 1 of 20? 1 in 100, that's, I can barely see them.
Well,
1 in 20, it's like you're going to be staring at that guy, 5% of the day.
I think it would make things a bit trickier, though. You can't say no to that, I reckon.
Okay, if anyone invites Jad to a destination wedding, I'm fine with not coming.
I would like for Locke to come.
I'll look after the little man. You're welcome to not have a destination wedding in the future.
I'm already married, sweetheart, to you.
Yeah, if you get remarried, you can do whatever you want.
When are we getting remarried?
No, I said if you get remarried, you can have another destination wedding. Take 2.
If we got remarried, would we shorten the length that our speeches went for?
No, I think speeches are the best part of weddings.
Some people hate speeches.
Yeah, those people shouldn't be at a wedding.
But do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people think speeches are like a really good part of the wedding. They look forward to it. Yeah, I enjoy the speeches. I think it's really entertaining. However, if you've been to a wedding with bad speeches, like consistently, they're all really bad, that can be a bit of a drag.
Yeah, I think you almost need to be like smart with who you choose to speak at your wedding, because some people aren't good at public speaking, and that's fine. Some people get rattled, some people get nervous, some people just flail around in their thoughts, and they'll write something on a paper and then they'll just go off the cuff and speak gibberish, which I've definitely experienced before. And you sit there and you're like, oh man, I feel for this person. This is really awkward. Like, no one's laughing.
You kind of want to step in and help them.
No one's feeling the love here. It does get a bit weird. But that being said, I've been to weddings where people talk for 20 minutes and I'm enthralled by it. It's so funny. You get like an insight into their story, their love, like they're paying each other out. Like, it's the best part in my opinion.
So you'd be happy if there were 5 hours of speeches?
Yeah, cool. Why you need to take it to the nth degree?
That's what I mean. What is an appropriate length of time? Because some people think 20 minutes max and some people think, couple of hours. So, like, what is appropriate?
Well, I think if you're the bride or groom, you should have free range, talk for as long as you want. But that being said, don't take the piss. Like, if you're just talking rubbish.
Half an hour?
That'd be, you got to be an incredible talker to keep people enthralled for half an hour at a wedding speech.
Or in love with yourself.
Yeah, that too. But I think, people normally have food in front of them, drinks. Like, they're happy to sit there and have a listen and have a laugh if you're doing a good speech. So
the other issue that, people have is the speeches during dinner thing. I think some people feel comfortable eating while someone's talking and some people just absolutely don't.
What? Like, you wouldn't put a bite of steak in your mouth while someone was talking?
It's the fork and the knife's cutting and it's going...
Mate, they're speaking on a microphone. There's 100 people. They're not going to hear your fork.
There's clanking. It sounds rude. We just went to my sister's wedding. I couldn't eat while someone was talking because I was like, it feels rude. I feel like I need to turn and face you and not eat my food.
Am I meant to, congratulate you for that? Is that
No, I'm saying some people feel like that they can't eat and then their food sits there and gets cold. So
don't say some people, just say you, because you haven't surveyed all the other people at the wedding.
A lot of people weren't eating. Their steaks that came out that were nice and hot, I noticed.
Okay, so all you're saying is time the food better with the speeches then?
No, I'm just saying you need to be considerate of how long the speeches are going for. If they're back to back to back and dinner's just come out, right?
Yeah, thank God we've already been married. If you're a good speaker, go nuts. If you're a fluffy speaker, write some things down, get them out.
But you're not going to know that.
Well, you do.
You're not going to know someone's got a shit speech, right? Because they don't read it to you before they do it.
No, they should know that they've got a rubbish speech. They should know they're not a good public speaker. This is not my jam. So, I'm going to keep it short and sharp and sweet.
That's all well and good, but some people get up there and just get nervous and ramble, like you said.
Yeah, I don't really think there's a limit, but I think just know your skills. If you're a talker, go nuts. If people are vibing and laughing and having a good time, let the good times roll. But if people are staring at you with blank faces, maybe you just cut your losses, wrap it up and say on to dessert.
Right, okay. You've had the speeches. Everyone's had a bit of a bookie.
Yeah.
The wedding's come to an end. There is an act that can be carried out after a wedding that most people assume the bride and groom are going to enter. And that is consummating the marriage.
Yeah. Are you trying to ask me if we did, or what's the question here? Did you forget?
I want to know what percentage of weddings do you think are actually consummated on the night of the marriage?
I mean,
because I reckon
it's less than what you would think.
I reckon it's maybe 5%.
Oh, that's low.
I think it's low. I think it's really, really, really low.
I think it's a nice idea in theory. Don't get me wrong. Nothing better than making love to your partner, especially after a beautiful day. Your wedding day is amazing. But let me tell you, the night before your wedding, didn't get much sleep. I was staring at the ceiling.
No one sleeps the night before.
For no reason other than you just want the day to go well. There's so much organisation, planning. You just, things are out of your control now, but you can't rest. You can't switch off. So
you're excited and anxious.
I don't think I slept the night before. Then we had this whirlwind of a day. It was amazing. It was beautiful. And then I think we got back into our room at maybe 11:30. Midnight.
Then you got a shower because you're filthy.
And then you want to debrief.
Oh, yeah.
Then you want to chat. And then you realise I've been up for 36 hours.
You're probably still hungry, actually, because you realise you haven't eaten anything at your own wedding. Most people.
So let me just tell you, you hear it here first. Jad and I did not consummate the marriage on our wedding night. And when we talked about it the next day, we were like, whoa, is that weird? This is our one, I was like, we can consummate it at any time from now. We can do it every day for the rest of our lives if you want to.
You know what I think
is that bad that we missed out on last night.
I think more people consummate the Maccas drive-thru.
What?
On the way home.
In a car park?
No, I'm saying I think the Maccas drive-thru is what the relationship is at the end of the night. That's what's going on.
Are you speaking from experience? Are you trying to tell me a story here? Or?
No, I'm just saying on the way home, I think more people are stopping at Maccas, having a cheeky cheeseburger and going to sleep at the end of their wedding night.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I think you underestimate how much of like an emotional day it is in a good way, but it zaps you, you know, your battery's drained at the end of the day.
You also want to catch up. Like most people don't talk most people don't talk on the morning of their wedding because it's nice to then see each other at the altar.
We were separate and didn't talk.
Yeah, so you don't chat. And then you catch up on what you did that morning because you don't know what the other person's done. Oh, how was your morning? How was getting ready with the boys? How was getting ready with the girls? So you want to debrief. Oh, how was that for you? Were you nervous waiting at the aisle? Like blah, 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 blah. And then you chat about the things that might have happened where, you know, you might have split up for a while, had chats with other people or seen things or whatever. So you do a debrief, I feel. That's probably more common than actually going home and having that experience. But imagine if you were one of those couples who had never done it before because they're out there, you know.
They're waiting for marriage.
You're holding out for marriage.
Oh, man.
And then that's the first time that you've done it.
Yeah.
That could not have been a good time.
Matt,
that would be a horrible place to start. You'd be exhausted.
Do you reckon there's been any day 2 divorces?
Maybe.
Like,
yeah, I'd be questioning what everyone says about it. You know, oh, why does everyone say this is so good? That was heinous.
That was not worth the wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, an interesting one. But yeah, I mean, we didn't do it, and I dare say, I reckon the majority of people, if I'm being honest, would be the same. Yeah. Not 5%. I don't know where you got that stat from, but
just pulled it out.
I reckon a little over 50 probably would not.
A little over 50. I reckon more. I reckon like 70.
We'll put out a survey.
All right.
Guys, feel free to let us know in the emails or the DMs if you did or didn't. And that is a bit personal, but yeah, we'll keep stats and your name will be kept secret.
If you want to disclose details, we're happy to read about it.
You said that with like a weird, creepy smile on. Like you want to know if these people have had coitus.
Could be funny stories. We don't know.
Moving on to our favourite segment of the week, we have Ask Mum and Dad. Now, you guys have been writing in some fun questions for us, and this week's we've actually chosen because it relates to weddings, marriage, and, you know, it's a bit of a tricky one. But, Jad, please read it out.
Alrighty, guys. Here we go. Listener question. I love how this opens, by the way. Hey, Shaz and Jazz. Can we just take a moment? Guys, if you don't know, Locke and I have alter egos. Used to, called Daz and Shaz. We look at that part of our life fondly, look back at that part. Should we revive it?
No.
Okay, all right, we'll leave it in the past. Hey, Daz, hey, Shaz and Daz, love the pod. I have a question for you guys that I really need some advice on. I have 2 mates who are getting married in a few weeks. The other night, one of them cheated on the other. Oh my gosh. I know this because I was there. The problem is I'm really conflicted because I'm closer friends with the one who did the cheating, but a part of me feels like I have a responsibility to tell the other, who I'm also friends with. What should I do? Oh, yikes.
Why are there so many people that are cheating on their partners in the realm of marriage?
Right before
it's
marriage.
Wild.
Oh, that's hectic, that one.
Yeah, you're closer to the cheater, so that's a tricky one. But
where are your loyalties in that situation?
I don't know, dedicating your life to someone when you know they've committed that act right before just seems like, oh, maybe you tell the other party anonymously or something. Yeah, I don't know. Like you're gonna ruin a relationship. But I guess the person that cheated kind of already did that, right? Like if you found out, they're the one doing the ruining of the relationship, not you.
However, I don't think there's any scenario where you can speak up and it end well.
No way.
So how do you approach that? How would you anonymously tell?
Well,
like think about it being your best mate who's done the cheating. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it depends.
Are you going to tell their partner? Like, would you do that to one of your best friends?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's so tricky. Like, I feel like marriage is a serious thing, and so.
Oh, well, I do too, just to clear things up.
Yeah, I would feel strange, almost like letting 2 people get into that without all the information about each other. Like, as in, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, if you...
Would you encourage your friend to tell them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's probably where you'd start. Yeah, I'd say, look, I don't think it's right what you did. I don't think it's the right grounds to start a marriage. Let me tell you, it's not going to end well. And I think you need to tell so-and-so. But it didn't say who was the cheater, the man or woman in that scenario. So
no, I'm just saying pretend it's your
Yeah. I would tell them first, but I doubt that that's going to encourage them to do it. So maybe you could, I don't know, threaten them. Like, hey, you got to... Well, like you tell your partner, I'm going to. Up to you. Like you can pick one of the. It's the lesser of two evils.
Would you say that though to someone you're extremely close with? I don't see you doing that, to be honest.
Yeah, I would like to think I would.
I see you being really morally conflicted.
I would really want to twist their arm into doing the right thing and telling, because I just think you're wasting everyone's time, money, effort. Like you're this person's going to marry you. Think they're dedicating your life to you after that you've done. I don't know. It's horrible.
I think that.
I'm freaking out just thinking about it.
I think that you'd hopefully encourage your friend to say something, or just at the very least express that you're not really like in agreement that that's the right thing to do.
Well, I think no one would be in agreement that that's the right thing to do.
Well, clearly that person thought it was.
Yeah, it's an odd one. Talk to your friend. Tell them. I would. If I was you and it wasn't my friend, I would just threaten them, because I'd want to know. I would want to help out the non-cheating party. I've been cheated on before. It's horrible. And I think if you didn't know and then dedicated your life to this person.
Like you can still you can back out of a bit. You can probably get refunds on a bit. You can figure it out, but...
You need to have all the information to make a decision about your future. And I think going back, I know how it feels. It's absolutely horrible. And... if I'd found out down the track and it happened before I got married and I got married to the person, I'd be bitter at a few people. And if I found out that my friend knew and didn't tell me, that friendship would be over. So consider that as well, you know. If you're
friends with both.
Yeah, if you value this person's friendship, it's like, well, I don't know, maybe the person that you are closer to maybe is not the type of person that you want to be friends with.
Yeah, I'd be questioning.
If they're cheating on your other friend and potentially, you know, like...
You'd question
swooning them into this marriage on false pretenses.
For sure, start questioning how they are as a friend.
That's my answer.
Where their loyalties lie.
That's my answer. Flog off the friend that's cheating, and then improve.
You reckon just axe your friend? Axe your really good mate.
Yeah, improve the friendship with the person that's been cheated on. I don't think I'd want to be friends with someone who cheated on someone that I was also friends with. That's my answer. Yeah, I've considered it. If you cheated on my friend and ruined,
Locke's getting upset.
Yeah, I hate this stuff. If you did that to one of my friends, I'd brush you. I'd get rid of you, and I would make sure I was there to support the person that got cheated on, make sure they get back on their feet, and I would happily not be friends with the person that's, you know,
very interesting,
ruined someone's, you know, years of dedication into a relationship. That is horrible. So that's my answer. Don't listen to Jads. Do that.
Guys, thank you for the question.
Sorry for getting riled up, guys.
We hope that was a little bit helpful, although I'm not quite sure that you reached as much of a clear answer as you were hoping for. But there you go. Locke, that's what Locke would do.
You know, when we answer these questions as well, I expect you guys to follow up. Like, I want to know what the outcome was.
Follow up. Yeah,
because I'm not for hypotheticals.
Yes,
like, message back and tell me what happened with this couple. We won't talk about it on the pod. That's fine. But I just need... You know, it's like the end of a movie that ends and it's just ambiguous about the ending. No, I want the ending.
Maybe everyone wants closure from the previous pod's question. Maybe we should start providing us, Mum and Dad, and closure with Mum and Dad.
Yeah, we'll think about it. Depends on the closure. If the closure is horrible, I'm like, I'm not telling people that. Yeah. That is not nice.
All right. Let us know how things went. Thank you so much for your question. We very much appreciate it. And that brings us to the end of our pod today, guys. If you want to send in any questions or stories, you can do that at madaboutYou@novapodcast.com.au. And until then, we will see you very soon.
And guys, if you're enjoying it, leave us a review. It takes you 2 seconds, right? We just spoke to you for 30 minutes. You could leave so many reviews in 30 minutes. It means a lot. Tell a friend. We appreciate you. See you next week.
Love you. Bye.